Franklin Roosevelt was born into privilege, the only child of James and Sarah Delano Roosevelt. His family had a long history of public service, and Franklin was expected to follow in those footsteps. His education began at Groton School, a prestigious preparatory school in Massachusetts, where he developed early leadership skills and a keen interest in public affairs. Roosevelt then attended Harvard College, graduating in 1903 with a degree in history. His experiences at Harvard exposed him to a broader worldview and kindled his passion for public service. Inspired by his cousin Theodore Roosevelt, who was then the President of the United States, Franklin embarked on a path that would eventually lead him to the highest office in the land. After completing his education, Roosevelt entered politics and won a seat in the New York State Senate in 1910. His quick rise in politics was interrupted by a personal tragedy in 1913 when he contracted polio, a disease that would impact him for the rest of his life. Despite the physical challenges, Roosevelt remained determined to pursue his political ambitions. In 1920, he ran as the Democratic Party's nominee for vice president but was unsuccessful. During the 1920s, Roosevelt focused on his rehabilitation, spending time at Warm Springs, Georgia, where he founded a hydrotherapy center for polio patients. These experiences profoundly shaped his perspective on disability and the challenges faced by those with physical limitations. Roosevelt returned to politics in the late 1920s, and in 1928, he was elected governor of New York. His tenure as governor was marked by progressive policies and a commitment to addressing the economic hardships of the Great Depression, which had begun in 1929. Roosevelt's innovative approaches to relief programs garnered attention, and his success at the state level set the stage for his leap onto the national political scene. In 1932, Franklin D. Roosevelt was elected President of the United States in a landslide victory over the incumbent Herbert Hoover. Roosevelt inherited a nation in the grip of the Great Depression, with unemployment soaring and economic despair widespread. Faced with these challenges, he embarked on a series of bold and unprecedented initiatives known as the New Deal. The New Deal was a multifaceted approach to economic recovery and social reform. Roosevelt's administration created programs such as the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, the Works Progress Administration, WPA, and the Social Security Act, all aimed at providing relief, recovery, and reform. The New Deal fundamentally altered the relationship between the government and its citizens, establishing a safety net and regulatory framework that persists to this day. Despite the success of many New Deal programs, Roosevelt faced significant opposition. Critics argued that his policies were too interventionist and that they expanded the power of the federal government at the expense of individual liberties. The Supreme Court initially struck down some key New Deal measures, leading Roosevelt to propose the controversial idea of packing the court with additional justices. While this plan was ultimately unsuccessful, it highlighted the fierce political battles of the time. As the 1930s progressed, the world faced the growing threat of fascism and aggression. With the outbreak of World War II in Europe, Roosevelt navigated the delicate task of balancing American neutrality while providing support to allied nations. He recognized the need for the United States to prepare for the possibility of entering the conflict and initiated policies such as the Lend-Lease Act, which allowed the U.S. to provide military aid to allied nations. The attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, thrust the United States into World War II. Roosevelt's leadership during the war was marked by his ability to unite the nation and marshal resources for the war effort. His fireside chats, delivered through radio broadcasts, reassured and inspired the American people, while his partnership with British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin solidified the Allied alliance. Franklin D. Roosevelt's legacy is complex and multifaceted. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II reshaped the role of the federal government and expanded the social safety net. The New Deal left a lasting impact on American society, and the programs initiated during his presidency continue to influence public policy. Social Security, in particular, stands as one of the most enduring legacies of his administration. Roosevelt's ability to inspire and mobilize the nation was evident in his unprecedented four-term presidency. However, his prolonged time in office also led to the passage of the 22nd Amendment in 1951, which limits a president to 2 terms. This amendment, in part, reflects concerns about the concentration of power and the potential for executive overreach. Franklin Delano Roosevelt's life and presidency exemplify resilience, vision, and adaptability. From overcoming personal adversity to guiding the nation through its darkest hours, Roosevelt's legacy endures as a testament to the transformative power of leadership. His impact on the United States, both domestically and internationally, continues to shape the nation's trajectory and underscores the enduring relevance of his ideas and policies. Franklin D. Roosevelt remains a towering figure in American history, forever etched in the collective memory as a visionary leader who steered the nation through tumultuous times with courage and conviction.
Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.